Alright, this is going to be the geometry practice final for 2018 for the winter. This is Mr. Schindel, and I am really sorry that I am not at school today, the day before your final. Riley is super sick and cannot go to daycare. So hopefully by having these solutions you'll be able to study for the test, or the final. This final that we're going to have tomorrow is going to be almost exactly like the final that I'm currently giving you. I'm just going to click a button and it's going to change all of the numbers, all of the lines. So instead of a line that looks like this, the final will have a line that looks like that or something. Well, it'll be straight. So as long as you know how to do every single thing on the practice final, you will be ready for the final. That means if you don't see any translation on the practice final, you will not see any translation on the actual final. I'm doing that because I'm not here today. If I was here today, then I would be a little bit harder on the final. So let's go over number one. So with your compass, we need to measure at least halfway between from the ends of the line segment. So let's open this at least halfway, and we know that it's going to be roughly out here. So I'm just going to make a line that looks like that, and then I'm going to come over to the other point and make a little tick mark there and a little tick mark there, and I can see that those intersection points will be my line of intersection. Let's make that a blue line. So between here and here, exactly through that intersection. Okay, well that was a little bit off because this should go exactly through it. There it is. And then this one should go exactly through it. There's my perpendicular bisector. There's number one. Let's go to number two, construct the bisector of each angle. And it's just one angle, I don't know why it says each. So how do we do this one? For this one, we need to first draw a circle. So we have a fixed distance from this vertice. So we need a fixed distance over here. And now my compass is all messed up. Let's click on U. So I need a fixed distance. I'm just going to randomly choose that distance. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to make a little tick mark right here. I'm going to drag this over here, make a tick mark out there. Oops. Alright, so then I need to, basically, it doesn't matter what size the compass is, I'm just going to leave it the same size. And then you use the metal tip to put it down here, and then you make some arc out here. Do the same thing by putting the metal end over here, and let's rotate this before I put the metal end over here so I can actually grab it, and make a tick mark out there. Oops, I guess I should have made this one a little bit farther down to the left. Oh, what's going on? Oh, the metal end is, there it goes. So it should be right there. Alright, so there is my intersection, which means my line is going to come right through here. There is my perpendicular, or not my perpendicular bisector, but my bisector of the angle. Alright, that was number two. Let's go on to number three. So I need to copy this angle. So first you need to draw some line, and it doesn't matter if the line looks like that, it could be like that. I'm just going to go like this so we can see that it is indeed the same angle. And it's going to be very similar to the the angle bisector that we just did, because you first start out with the same exact steps where you, I want to grab this, where you put the metal end on the vertex, drag it out some distance, and it doesn't matter what that distance is as long as it's the same distance here as it is, scroll up a little bit, as it is right here. And then you're going to do the same thing over here. I'm just going to draw a giant circle around it because I know it's going to be somewhere right there. I know that it's going to intersect somewhere out there at some point. I don't know where that is, so the last thing that I need to do is measure the distance between my two tick marks. So I'm going to come over here, and let's rotate this, sure, by that amount. That's annoying because I can't scroll to the left any. Let me try rotating it like, yeah, there we go. Like this, so I'm measuring from here to right there. It looks like it's almost the right distance. Yeah, this is as good as I'm going to get with technology. And then I'm going to put my metal end of my compass right here and find the intersection mark, which happens to be right there. Oops. So my angle comes from that vertex up through that intersection mark, and I have copied the angle. If I stand back and look at it, I'll say, oh yeah, those two angles do indeed look the same. On to number 4, circumcenter. Circumcenter means perpendicular bisectors. So if you need to write that, you can say this is perpendicular bisectors. So let's write this. Whenever you see circumcenter, that's perpendicular bisector. So coming back and using our compass, I need to make at least 2 perpendicular bisectors. So my perpendicular bisectors are going to, I'm going to just choose this top line segment first. It doesn't matter which 2 line segments you use. So there's top left, and it needs to be at least halfway, so I'm going to choose like that. What happened there? My line thickness went down. Oh, I know it's because this line thickness is, aha, there we go. And then I'm going to come over to the other vertex right there, and I'll make my intersection mark right there and right there. So that's the first perpendicular bisector, because we'll have a line that we'll make it semi-skinny that goes through those points. And I'm going to make it really long. I know it's going to be somewhere down here. And then I'm going to do another perpendicular bisector. I'm just going to randomly decide to do this line segment here. And it's the same process again. So I move the metal end to one of the vertices, and I make sure that the compass is opened up at least halfway. So there's at least halfway, and then I draw a part of a circle, come down here to the other vertex, and rotate this back up. Let's see if I can grab it to find the intersection mark there and there. Don't need you anymore. And my intersection goes from there to there, which means my in-center is where it intersects. My in-center is, I'll do it in green, right there. That is my, or sorry, that's a circumcenter. So that's the circumcenter. Go ahead and label it on your practice final too. This is the circumcenter. Nice. And then we're on to number 5. All right, number 5 is the in-center. In-center means angle bisectors, so we need to make at least 2 angle bisectors. So grab your compass. It needs to be, it doesn't matter how long it is. It can be this long, it can be that long. So make a tick mark here, just make full circle, sure. All right, and then from this intersection, we need to make a tick mark somewhere out here that looks about halfway, about right there. That looks good. And then rotate you, and on the other intersection point, find the intersection out in the empty space, and we have our angle bisector. Shoosh. All right, there's one angle bisector. I make sure to make this line really long just in case. Well, I mean, it is on the, it's an in-center, which means it has to be somewhere in the inside the triangle. Let's see exactly where that is. Oops. Okay, so from there, we need to make another angle bisector. I'm going to randomly choose this vertex right here. Let me rotate you. So I put the metal end right on the vertex. Come out here, I make that circle, and then I move to the first intersection point, and somewhere out here, and then second intersection point, and trying to make an intersection tick mark, shoosh, right there. Cool. And then if I make a line that goes from the vertex through that intersection point, we see that the in-center happens to be right there. So there, let me make that a, sure, go back to green and there. So right there, that is the in-center. Make sure to always label your in-center. All right, nice. Okay, let's do number 6. What's going on? Can I just delete you? Nope, I cannot. All right. So for number 6, we have, let's go to blue here. We have RST. RST, that's a straight line that says 180 degrees. The measure of angle DST. DST, this tiny little angle right here, is, oh wait, sorry, DST. I can't read. DST is this angle right here is 160 degrees. That's 160 degrees. And we're looking for RST. We're looking for that unknown angle right there. Well, I know I just need to take 180, subtract 160 to get 20. The correct answer is D, 20. Yeah, that full angle, this full angle right here was 180, so subtract 160 to get 20. And on to number 7, we have STR. So this angle right here is 25x minus 2. So that angle there is 25x minus 2. And STU, so this entire angle here, STU, is 76x minus 2. And also tells us RTU, that angle right here, is 102. We need to find x. Okay, so I know that if I add 102 with 25x minus 2, it should add up to the full angle of 76x minus 2. So let's go ahead and say that in an equation. We say 25x minus 2 plus 102. Those two angles add up to 76x minus 2. And then from there we just solve. I'm going to go ahead and simplify these numbers on the right. So I have, switch colors here real quick. So minus 2 and 102, whenever they're on the same side of the equal sign, these two numbers are on the same side of the equal sign, I'm just going to combine those. 102 minus 2 is 100, so I now have 25x, that didn't get changed, and then plus 100 is equal to 76x minus 2. Now I need to decide what side my x's should be on. I'm going to decide on the right, which means I'm going to subtract 25x on both sides, minus 25x minus 25x. You could have chosen the left or the right. It doesn't really matter. If I put the x's on the right-hand side, though, I know that it's going to be positive. I don't have to worry about dividing by a negative later. So that gets rid of the 25x's, and I'm left with, what is this? This is going to be 51x minus 2, and I still have this 100. There's my equal sign, and now I need to add 2 to both sides. So let's come over here. Let's switch to a new color. Let's add 2. I cannot tell the difference between those two colors. Let's go to that color. Sure. So add 2 to both sides, and that gets rid of the 2's, and I now have 102 is equal to 51x. All right, almost there. Last step now. Let's choose that color. I have to divide both sides by 51 because 51 is being multiplied by x, so opposite of multiply by 51 is divide by 51 on both sides, so that gets rid of the 51. X is now equal to 102 divided by 51, which is 2. Correct answer is A. On to number 8. Find the measure of angle B. All right, so the measure of angle B. I know that if I add up all three of these angles, they should add up to 360 because there are 360 degrees in a circle. Or I guess in the angles measuring around a point is the correct way of saying that. So I have 296 plus 27 plus B. All three of those should add up to be 360. So let's combine our like terms. Let's add this 296 and 27 because they're on the same side of the equal sign. Whenever they're on the same side, you just add them together, as long as they're the same sign. B and numbers don't go together. So 296 plus 27, what is that going to be? That's going to be 300. We need to take 4 away from there to make that an even 300. And when I take 4 away, that's going to be 23. So 323 plus B is equal to 360. And then from there, I should have switched colors, but I'll do it now. When I switch colors, I'm going to subtract 323 from both sides, minus 323 minus 323. And I'm left with just B because those cancel out. So B is now equal to, and it looks like it's going to be 37. And oh yeah, there it is, A. A is the correct answer. You will not have a calculator on the test, or on the final, so just make sure you know how to subtract. And in case you don't know how to do that, let me just show you really quickly. All right, apparently we have my sub, according to Assassin. So 360 minus 323. I can't do 0 minus 3, so I have to borrow from the tens place. So that's a 5. That's now a 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. And that's where I got 37 from. I just did it in my head. All right, moving on. Number 9. All right, solve for x. And for these guys, the shortcut here is to just determine if they're the big angle or the small angle. If they're big and small, they add up to 180. If they're big and big, they are equal. If they're small and small, they're equal. So this is a big angle. That's a big angle because that's a small angle right there. It's a little bit hard to see because it's really close together, but I know since these are both big and big, they should be equal to one another, which means I set them equal to one another. X plus 104 is equal to 100. Hey buddy, what's up? I have to subtract 104 on both sides. Oh, okay. I'll be right there, buddy. Minus 104, minus 104, and I get x by itself is equal to negative 4. Correct answer is C. Alright, so Riley wants to be bounced, which means the quality of my video is going down. He's not a very happy boy. You probably hear him in the background. Same thing for this problem, number 10. Big angle, big angle. These are both big angles, so they are set equal to one another. So I have 15x plus 10 is equal to 17x minus 2. I know, right? Hold on. From here, I need to get all my x's on the same side, which means I'm going to subtract 15x. That's going to leave me with a positive 10, a 2x, and a minus 2. From there, I'm going to add 2 to both sides, and I get 12 is equal to 2x. Divide both sides by 2, and x is therefore equal to 6. Correct answer is C. Moving on to number 11. Number 11. So, I know that these are both, and they're really, really hard to tell in this case, but they're corresponding angles. These are both the same angle. If it looks like one angle has just been moved down and it's still on the top right, this is still on the top right, that's corresponding, which means they are the same. They are congruent angles. So set them equal to each other. That symbol here means 90, so 90 is equal to x plus 102. I subtract 102 from both sides, and I get x is equal to negative 12. So B is the answer. Number 12. These are vertical angles. I think we're all really familiar with these, so set them equal to each other. So I have 7x plus 8, set that equal to 9x minus 4. Then I have to subtract 7x from both sides. I get 2x minus 4 is equal to 8. Add 4 to both sides. I get 12 is equal to 2x. Divide both sides by 2. X is equal to 6. Correct answer is D. Number 13. All right, these, I have a small and a big. Whenever you have a small and a big, that means they add up to 180. And that makes sense because this is a line right here. So they add up to 180. They are supplementary angles. So add both these angles, set it equal to 180. Here we go. 15x plus 5 is equal to, or sorry, not equal to, is, oh, what just happened? Okay, let me try again. 15x plus 5 plus 9x plus 7 is equal to 180 degrees. Combine like terms. Whenever you're on the same side of the equal sign, just combine. So 15x and 9x, that combines to form a 24x. What am I saying here? 24x, and then 5 plus 7, so that's going to be plus 12, and that's going to be equal to 180. From there, I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. I get 24x is equal to, and I'm going to subtract 12, so that's going to be 168, and divide both sides by 24. You will not have a calculator on your test, so you're going to have to go ahead and check here. So if I multiply by 4, 4 times 2 is about 80, so it's about double 4, so the correct answer is 8. And you can check that just in case you think that the guess is bad. But if I do 24 times 8, I know, Riley, hold on. 24 times 8, 8 times 4 is 32, carry the 3, 2 times 8, 16, 17, 18, 19, 192. Oh, we got it wrong. Oh no. Okay, so that means the correct answer was 7. Sorry about that. It's not A, it is B. So let's come back here. The correct answer was B, because if I do 24 times 7, I'm glad I checked my work. 24 times 7, 4 times 7 ends with an 8. Carry the 2, because 28. 7 times 2 is 14, 15, 16, 168. There it is. Okay, correct answer is B for number 13. Number 14, again, I have a big angle and a small angle. Whenever I have a big angle and a small angle, I add them and set it equal to 180 degrees. So here I go. I'm going to say 7x plus 11 plus 120, 120 is equal to 180. Oh gosh, handwriting's so bad. Whoa, 7x plus 11. I hate it when you hit Command Z and it just undoes like everything. This program is a little bit weird. Plus 120 is equal to 180. Okay, from there, I'm going to combine like terms. I have an 11 and 120 that combine. This is really annoying. That combine to form 131. I still have my 7x, and that is equal to 180. From there, I'm going to subtract 131 from both sides. If I subtract 131 from both sides, I'm left with 7x is equal to, it's going to be 49. Divide both sides by 7, x is equal to 7. Correct answer is D. I think that's the last one for this page. We are on to the next page, number 15. Find the measure of angle B. All right, so we notice that this is a complementary, these are two complementary angles. They sum to 90 because this is a right angle right here. So 68 plus B equal 90. So what will B be in order to get this whole angle to 90? You can either set up an equation or just use logic. Say, okay, well, 22, because 22 plus 68 is 90. Or you could say 68 plus B is equal to 90. Subtract 68 for both sides to get B is equal to 22. I know, huh, bud? Yeah. All right. We're on to number 16. Solve for x. You know that the sum of the interior of a triangle always adds up to 180. So if I add them all up and set it equal to 180, I should be able to get x by itself. All right, so here we go. We have 55 plus 55 plus 7x. Hold on, bud. Plus 7. I'm sorry, bud. And then 55 plus 55 is 110. Add the 7. That's going to be 117 plus 7x. And all that should be set equal to 180. Equal to 180. Okay, subtract 117 for both sides. I get 7x is now equal to, that's going to be 53. No, that's not right. So 8 minus 1 is 7, so carry, and they get 6. So it's going to be 63. All right, that makes sense. And then divide both sides by 7, and then x is equal to 9. Correct answer is C. Find the exact area of the circle using pi. Remember that the area of the circle A is equal to pi r squared, not 2 pi or 2 pi d. That's circumference. This is area. Circumference is not being asked on the final, so you don't need to memorize it. But here we go. Area is pi r squared, so area therefore is equal to pi times this 8 squared. So pi times 64. 64 pi is the answer. Correct answer is A. That's the last problem from page number 5. We are on to page number 6. I think, is this the last page? And then it goes to a blank page. So yeah, this is the last page. So this is a parallelogram. Parallelograms are pretty straightforward. You just do the height times the base times height. So 4 times 2.5. Well, times 4 is the same thing as times 2 times 2. So 2.5 times 2 is 5. Times 2 is 10. So the answer is 10. You just multiply those two together. For a trapezoid, it's a little bit harder. It's the average of these two lengths, and then I multiply by the height. And if you want the formula, well, I guess the formula for this one is just base times height. The area formula for the trapezoid is you do base 1 plus base 2. You add these two numbers, you divide by 2, and then you multiply by the height. So from there, I'm going to add these together. 8.9 plus 3.1. Well, 0.1 and the 9 is going to make this a 9. So 9 plus 3 is 12. So I'm going to say, what is 12 times 4.1? Oh, I have to add them and then divide by 2. Sorry. Forgot to divide by 2. So the average of both of these is 6. And that makes sense. 6 is halfway between 3.1 and 8. So 6 times 4.1 is going to be 24.6. The correct answer is B. Number 20. All right, area of a triangle. This is area equals base times height divided by 2. So I'm just going to multiply these two numbers and then divide it by 2. Okay, so I've got some mental math going on. I'm just going to do it on paper. So I have 9 times 3.8. So I'm going to say 3.8. And 9 times 8 is 72. 2 carry the 7. 9 times 3 is 27. Plus 7 is 34. So 34. Move 1 decimal place, no decimal place, so 34.2, which is incorrect because you need to divide by 2. So divide by 2, that's equal to 17.1. Correct answer is C, 17.1 yards squared. All right. Number 21, classify. This one is acute because it's smaller than 90. If it's 90, it's right. If it's 180, it's straight. If it's greater than 90, it's obtuse. Okay, number 22 and 23 are last ones. To do it, we need to find the surface area of each of these, or the area of each of these faces. So the face closest to me is 11 times 9, which is 99. The face in the back It has a length of 11 and again a height of 9. So again, it's also 99. What about this face right here? So that's going to be 3 by 9, which is 27. And then finally, I need to find what this triangle is right here. And it might be hard to find what the height is, and that's because this right angle kind of messed up. But the height should be this right here, because this is, I think it's supposed to be a right angle. So if that's a right angle, that means that the height is 11 by 3. So this has a height of 11 times 3, which is 33 over 2. And this triangle down here is exactly the same, 33 over 2, which means if I add up 33 over 2 plus 33 over 2, it just adds up to 33. So really, I just have these 4 numbers, because 33 is 33 over 2 twice. So those 4 numbers added up, and you should get 258. I think B is the answer. I can check my solution guide in a sec. And then finally, number 23, you have to find the area of each of these shapes, and you really just have to multiply by 2. And here's why. 6 times 4, this area is 24, but this area in the back is also 24. So I'm only going to write it once and just remember to multiply by 2 at the very end. So that's 24. The top here is 9 times 6, which is 54, and the area of the side, 9 times the height of 4, which is 36. So add these 3 together, then multiply by 2. So 54 plus 24, that's 78. 78, remember that, Mr. Sannell, and then plus 36, that's going to be 114 times 2 is 228. Correct answer is B. Let me go check the answer for 22, because I'm a little bit not sure about him. I'm going to come here to my geometry winter final key. No. And open up Hue. Let's see what the answer to number 22. 22 was B. So if I come back here, 22 is B. Cool, I got all the right answers. Here are all of the multiple choice answers. Hopefully I got them all correct. Those were all the constructions, which don't really help. You really need the video solutions to those. And that concludes the geometry winter practice final. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good luck. Oh, and one thing before I go to, your extra credit tracker is due tomorrow, so make sure that is all filled out. I will be signing off anything that is missing signatures, but that signature, or yeah, the extra credit tracker, make sure you have it for tomorrow. That's the one thing you need to bring with you, aside from your pencil and your sheet for note card and all that stuff.